Hello grade 11 chemistry students. I hope this video finds you well. This is going to be a short little video that gets you started with setting up an account with a website for doing some virtual lab work. I really like it. It's called explorelearning.com. You may have used it in other classes, especially biology. The topic of this lab is going to be on the limiting reagent and percent yield, something that you guys probably started in class already. However, this one is going to be all self-contained online. So let's begin. So the link that is posted here goes to a site called Explore Learning, and you are also provided with a class code that will get you set up into my class so that you can find the resources you need and submit your there's a little quiz following the lab, and you can submit it right there within Explore Learning. So let's get started. So you click on this link, and you need to have an account with Explore Learning before you go into this. Otherwise, you only get 5 minutes, and it's not going to save anything for you. So that's not good. So you want to go sign up for free, and then oh, I'm sorry, you don't want to sign up for free. You want to go log in or enroll and then put in our class code here, which is this 6-character code. Copy that, paste that, MV8QMM, and then enroll in a class. Okay, so before you can actually get into this class, you need to create an Explore Learning account. That's this link here. It's pretty straightforward. I already have an account set up with this the video that I'm showing you, so I'm just going to log in. And if you already do from a different class, for example, click on the blue bar here. Otherwise, the green bar just takes a moment. So we're going to get in. It's going to log me in, and I'm going to launch the gizmo on limiting reactants. Okay, so in order to proceed with this, you're going to need some instructions. That's all under this lesson info drop-down menu and the student exploration sheets. Please choose the Google Doc. So you're going to click on a Google Doc. It's going to ask you, hey, you need to make a copy of this. So you're going to go make a copy, and that is going to be saved into your Google Drive, just directly into the main Google Drive. And then from there, you can move it to wherever you need to move it. In the end, you have to share this document with me and upload it as a post in this assignment. So this is pretty convenient. You can just type in these boxes. So your name, if you so choose. You can even change the file name here. That's kind of up to you. As long as you upload it properly to me, when you're done, it'll all be good. So it says before you start, there's some prior knowledge questions. So this is sort of like we've talked about in class already, about making bacon cheeseburgers or hot dogs or whatever. So it says, imagine you and your friends are making hot dogs. A complete hot dog consists of a wiener and a bun. At the store, you buy 4 packages of 8 wieners and 3 bags of 10 buns. How many total hot dogs can you make? Well, 4 packages of 8 wieners gives us 32 wieners. 3 bags of 10 buns only gives us 30 buns. So we would only be able to make 30 buns. 30 hot dogs, sorry. 30 hot dogs. Which ingredient limited the number of hot dogs you can make? Well, that was the buns. Which ingredient will you have left over? Well, that'll be the wieners. So again, this is a little bit of stoichiometry. It's a lot of stoichiometry. And just taking it one step further now, deciding which of the reactants is going to run out. And that is called the limiting reactant, or in this case, the limiting ingredient. Okay, so now we're going to move into the gizmo. And what I would suggest you do on your Chromebooks is if you kind of like drag one of these tabs off of the window, you can make it its own window. Might have to do it there again. It does seem to work. And then I would open up the gizmo on the other side so that you can kind of see what you're supposed to do, fill it in, and then do it at the same time. If you are lucky enough to be working on multiple screens, if you're plugged in at home, that is cool. You could also do this on, fill this in on your phone, for example, and work on your Chromebook on the actual gizmo. There's a variety of ways you can do about this. Okay, so gizmo warm-up. Just as ingredients can be put together to make new food, substances can combine during a chemical reaction to produce new substances. The substances that undergo change are called reactants. The new substances are called products. No news there. But sometimes during a chemical reaction, one type of reactant will be used up before the others. The one that is used up is called the limiting reactant. Using the limiting reactants gizmo over here, you can determine which reactant is limiting in various scenarios. So to begin, make sure that the H2 plus O2 becomes H2O is selected. Okay, and then use the sliders to set the number of oxygen and hydrogen molecules to 2, and in they come. So how many are there? How many hydrogen molecules are there? Well, there are 2. How many hydrogen atoms are there? Well, there are 4. How many oxygen molecules are there? There are 2. And oxygen atoms, there are 4. These would both be Hofbrinkel gases and exist in diatomic pairs, diatomic molecules. How many H2O molecules do you think will form when these 4 molecules react? Well, I think that there are going to be 2. Let's see if I'm right. Was I right? Yes, I was right. How many were actually formed? 2. But notice this, we have an extra oxygen floating around. What's going on there? How come we have an extra oxygen floating around? Well, in H2O, we need 2 hydrogens for every 1 oxygen. That's what the little 2 here means, is that there are 2 hydrogens for every 1 oxygen. So in order to produce a single molecule of water, how many hydrogen atoms are needed? 2. How many oxygen atoms are needed? 1. We're going to do a little prediction. Set the number of O2 molecules to 5. So just going to pause this. Reset the whole thing, actually. Set the number of O2 molecules to 5. And the number of H2 molecules to 8. How many oxygen atoms are present? 10. How many hydrogen atoms are present? 16. How many water molecules could we form with this? Got to think a little bit here, right? So we need 2 hydrogens for every oxygen. So the most water that we could make would be 8, out of these 16 hydrogens, 8. We have more than enough oxygen, but we can only make 8 waters out of these 8 hydrogen molecules, or 16 hydrogen atoms. After the molecules react, which reactant will be left over? Well, I'm predicting there will be some oxygen left over. And if oxygen is left over, that means we've used up all of the hydrogen, and it will be the limiting reagent. So click play and see what happens. 5 oxygens plus 8 hydrogens makes... look at that. We got 8 waters. We got 1 oxygen left over. No hydrogens left over. This reaction is written in a little bit of a different way than you would normally see it, but they're giving us some insight into what remains and what does not remain, what has been used up completely. So what happened? Well, 8 water molecules were formed. 1 oxygen molecule is left over. No hydrogen molecules are left over. Okay, click reset. Set the number of O2 molecules to 10. How many hydrogen molecules will be needed for there to be no excess? So excess meaning excess reactants, meaning there's none left over. Well, if we have 10 oxygen molecules and every water has 1, we're going to need 20 hydrogen molecules to use those all up. Why can't I type in here? Well, that's not good. Anyways, we'll just put a 20 there. Maybe just highlight that. Whoa, what did we do here? Whoopsie, guys. 20. Doesn't want to go in that box for some reason. Anyways, how many water molecules will be formed? I'm thinking there'll be 10 because there are 10 oxygen molecules. Click play. What happened? Let them mix. You can actually see them going down, the reactants and water being formed. I meant 20 here, you guys, not 10. There we go. What happened? 20 water molecules formed. No reactants left over. All right, number 4, challenge yourself. Run the gizmo with 5 oxygen molecules and 9 hydrogen molecules. How many of each molecule do you think will be produced by this reaction? Produced or left over, I guess. So I think if we have 5 oxygen molecules, we can make, okay, so this is now challenging. It's under the challenge yourself. So we can make, with these 9 hydrogen molecules, 9 water molecules because it's H2O. 5 oxygen molecules gives us 10 oxygen atoms. So we should be able to make 10 water molecules out of those 10 oxygen atoms. So I think we're going to be able to make only 9 though, right? Because we only have 9 hydrogens. So that's going to leave us with 0 hydrogens, and we're going to have 1 oxygen molecule left over. Let's see what happens here. And I was wrong, right? We only formed 8 hydrogens. 8 waters, sorry, and we had 1 hydrogen left over. How many were actually produced? Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have changed my prediction. Well, how many oxygens were left over? 1. How many hydrogens were left over? 1. How many waters were made? 8. How do you explain this result? Oh, this result is due to the fact that we need 2 times as much hydrogen for every, we need 2 times as much hydrogen as oxygen. So 10 atoms of oxygen could produce 10 water molecules, but we would need 20 atoms of hydrogen. Since we only had 9 molecules, of hydrogen, which is 18 atoms, we were able to produce only 8 water molecules. Okay. Now, your job on your own will be to run this activity again with a different set of reactants. Carbon and hydrogen is going to make CH4. So you're going to go through this in a way that I did in a similar fashion and finish off questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, when you are done that, you are done the hands-on lab portion of this activity, but don't quit just yet. There are 5 multiple choice assessment questions that are below the gizmo that need to be completed. I will be checking your answers for this out of those 5. And your overall mark for this virtual lab will be based off of completing the tasks on the Google Doc. That'll be for 5 marks. And then the assessment questions will make up the other 5 for a grand total of 10. So please do both parts. When you are done the first part of this, you can just attach the Google Doc. So in here, when you go to view your assignment, you can add in a link or from your Google Drive, this document right here, and then turn it in. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please ask. Thank you very much for your time.